counter-terrorism forces in the Russian flashpoint of North Caucasus. The elite soldiers of the Russian National Guard during training. It consists of over 100 special task forces. Many are comparable to German counter-terrorism units like the GSG-9. Extremely well trained and equipped with the latest weapons.
I'm observing a group of terrorists. They're approaching a village.
They fight mainly against terrorists in the Russian Caucasus republics and are frequently deployed in Dagestan and Chechnya. Their adversaries are radical Islamists and common criminals who use Islamism as a pretext.
We have a lot of sleeper cells here who become active on command. They harm the populace with their terror attacks. Our job is to prevent them.
The goal of the Russian National Guard: track down extremists and eliminate them before they can strike. Chechnya, the predominantly Muslim Russian republic, was almost completely destroyed in 2 wars between 1994 and 2003. At the time, Islamic separatists wanted independence from the Russian Federation. Following the wars, the Russian government rebuilt much of the country. But there are still countless terrorists there. They mostly live in hiding and operate in small groups. Special forces carry out a simulated counter-terrorism raid. They call their unit SKIF, in English, the Siths. These pre-Christian nomadic warriors are said to have once inhabited the North Caucasus. Many Russian houses are protected by steel doors.
Is the door locked?
It's bolted.
Explosives solve the problem. The 2 frontmen carry bulletproof shields. The operation in the building is meticulously choreographed. On a real mission, one wrong move could prove fatal. For security reasons, the elite fighters are not allowed to show their faces.
It gets especially dangerous when the criminals already have blood on their hands. Then they generally put up fierce resistance.
This footage was filmed by Caucasian terrorists. It shows an attack on a police station. It was probably intended to serve as evidence for potential financial backers. The Russian National Guard suspects that the men have good connections to Arabic countries and Pakistan. This decoy fires at a police station. The policemen take the bait and chase after him. Other extremists are waiting on a hill until the policemen are in range and then open fire. They cry, "God is great." The extremists hope the cowardly ambush will put pressure on the government.
We want to drive the Russian occupiers out of the North Caucasus and establish a theocracy. We'll kill all the corrupt policemen who work for the Russians, torture Muslims, and attack our families.
They use video messages to propagandize their goal, a caliphate, independence for the resource-rich Russian republics of Dagestan and Chechnya. These men are no longer alive. Special forces teams have eradicated them. But other extremists have taken their place. Many have joined the terrorist militia, Islamic State. They disseminate their hate-filled threats to the populace via the internet.
Enough. What do you mean you don't want to pay to support us? I'm warning you, we'll confiscate half of your property, and anyone who still refuses to pay will be killed. I swear we'll kill you. You have to support our cause without protest.
During the summer months, many extremists withdraw into the mountains. They seek the protection of the dense forests. But the elite fighters of the Counter-terrorism unit, SKIF, hunt them there too. Civilians, informers, police, secret services. They all provide the Russian National Guard with information about the insurgents. If several sources are in agreement, the Guard weighs up the chances of a successful pursuit. Today, the SKIF will comb a forest area in the border region of Chechnya and Dagestan. It's challenging terrain.
I prefer the WELT submachine gun for missions at this time of year. It's well suited for close combat. In the summer, engagements normally occur in the mountain forests, so at close ranges from 2 to 20 meters. You can't really see any further than that. The WELTs can deal with pretty much anything. It fires a 9x19 caliber round. The projectiles can pierce a standard bulletproof vest.
The head of the Counter-terrorism unit is almost 40 years old, a man with war experience. He doesn't underestimate his adversary. The terrorist gangs are often highly professional.
They start stocking their hideouts with supplies in spring and then relocate their activities to the forests in summer. The underbrush gives them cover.
The SKIF have managed to put a stop to the activities of many gangs over the past few years. As a result, the extremists have become more cautious.
They've changed their tactics. In the past, they immediately started shooting when we got close to them. Now they try to remain undetected and avoid a direct confrontation for as long as possible.
The special task forces of the Russian National Guard are increasingly driving the radical Islamists into a corner, not least thanks to detailed intelligence from the state security services.
We look very closely at what our opponents do, how they communicate, how they live. We study them. We've now got them to a point where no one wants to be the leader, because that significantly reduces one's life expectancy.
One of the challenges of missions like this is remaining focused. The SKIF combs the section of forest for hours. Nothing but green underbrush. Booby traps or terrorists waiting in ambush could be anywhere.
Here, a wrapper.
Then the men find more traces.
This used to be a terrorist camp. They didn't stay here long, though. They just quickly tied together a few branches so they wouldn't be discovered right away. Add a sleeping mat, and you've got a place to sleep. They ate here and left their garbage there. It was just a quick stopover for them.
The special forces have encircled a group of extremists. Now they're slowly closing in on their quarry. This footage was taken by the Counter-terrorism unit's cameraman. Maximum vigilance. A hail of bullets can rain down on them at any moment. Suddenly, shots are fired. The terrorists put up fierce resistance. They try to escape. The SKIF withdraw from the underbrush. They want to open fire on the target area with heavier weapons. They manage to pinpoint the location of the Islamists. Now, the elite soldiers strafe the area square meter for square meter. The extremists have dug themselves into this ridge. Simply storming it would be too dangerous. Some of the Special Forces men could be killed in the attempt. A few hours later, the firefight is over. 3 terrorists died in the hail of bullets. Now, the criminal investigation begins. Which group did they belong to? Who are their relatives and friends? The search for clues about possible accomplices. Meanwhile, the SKIF head back to Grozny. The special forces are stationed in the capital of Chechnya. At first sight, nothing here hints at the presence of terrorist cells or an impeding terrorist attack. But the peace is deceptive. Nobody knows that better than the 4-star general Sergei Melikov. He belongs to the senior leadership of the Russian National Guard. Around 400,000 men and women work for the authority, which is responsible for internal security in Russia. An exclusive interview with the general.
Terrorist organizations are always coming up with new tactics. In order to be unpredictable for us, they avoid clear hierarchical structures. The autonomous underground cells plan their own operations. And these attacks often get a lot of publicity, as they mostly target the civilian population. Things like bombing attacks on crowds of people.
St. Petersburg, April 2017. An autonomous cell with close ties to Al-Qaeda carries out a bombing attack in a subway. A suicide bomber kills at least 15 people. By committing such bloody acts, the terror cells seek to draw attention to themselves, often in hope of being put on the payroll of the major terrorist organizations. In this case, their plan doesn't work out. The radical Islamic cell is completely eradicated.
Many of these crimes are also financially motivated, which is why we have to work harder to improve the living conditions of young people, so that they don't become receptive to the criminal ideology of the terrorists in the first place. Jobs, social security, the fight against injustice and corruption are all important factors here. The government has already made some progress in these areas.
Sergei Melikov's family have themselves been the victim of Caucasian extremists. His son, Dmitry, a captain of the Special Task Force Vitus, is buried in this Moscow graveyard.
This loss was a huge blow for us. We're proud of Dmitry. He died young, but he was an exemplary officer and certainly didn't lose his life in vain.
Dmitry was shot by terrorists in the mountain forests of Dagestan at the age of just 25.
I haven't just lost my son, but other people close to me too. But they were all aware of what they were getting themselves into and how risky the fight against terror is. And they also knew that there's no other way to deal with these gangs. They gave their lives in order to save children, women, and families.
The Russian Republic of Dagestan on the Caspian Sea. Like Chechnya, it's primarily Muslim. And Dagestan is likewise an Islamist stronghold. Terrorists have an easy time recruiting throughout the entire North Caucasus. Unemployment, administrative arbitrariness, and corruption are widespread here. They drive a steady stream of new followers into the arms of radical gangs, according to civil rights campaigner Abdurrahman Magomedov. Education is therefore extremely important.
Young people are often searching for a purpose in life. They can be easily influenced by whoever is close to them at the time. If young people fall into the clutches of radical groups, they're usually lost forever. It's like a one-way street.
Anyone who gets involved in terrorism rarely gets out alive. Wanted lists of the Russian authorities. The so-called recruits of Islamic State took this murder video in Dagestan. It shows how they ambush an officer of the Russian National Guard and his relative while camping. The IS followers shoot the officer's cousin immediately. Then they pressure Second Lieutenant Magomed Nurmagomedov to look into the camera and tell his comrades that they should end the fight against the IS.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Tell your people they should leave us in peace.
The officer refuses. Keep working, brothers, he says instead. This message to his comrades is his death sentence. The mountain village of Sergokala, home of the murdered officer. For his bravery, Nurmagomedov was posthumously proclaimed a hero. His parents now take care of his two children. They show off the prestigious decoration with pride. They have their own theory about the death of their son.
The Western nations don't want us in Russia to live a good, peaceful life, so that our children can make something of themselves. That's why they send these terrible people to us. They stir up hatred from all sides until we attack each other here. But they won't succeed in defeating us.
A crass allegation. Russian investigators managed to capture two of Nurmagomedov's killers.
We told him to say that the fight against us must stop. But instead he said, "Keep working, brothers." I filmed it. Then we shot Magomed Nurmagomedov in the head.
This video was produced by friends of Nurmagomedov. In it, they commemorate their fallen comrade. The message: we won't forget. What follows is an unprecedented hunt for the remaining members of the extremist group. Special forces of the Russian National Guard and Federal Security Service, FSB, eventually tracked them down to the Dagestani city of Khasavyurt. They waste no time. These images were taken by the Federal Security Service, FSB. The elite soldiers want to set an example and make short work of the men. Three of the Islamists are killed during the operation. The cell, recruits of the IS, is eradicated. The city of Khasavyurt and the surrounding countryside is considered an extremist stronghold. Another special task force of the Russian National Guard carries out a raid in this area. The men of the SOBR Bulat are looking for IS followers. SOBR stands for Rapid Response Unit, Bulat for Steel. The elite Moscow police officers have been assigned to the North Caucasus for 3 months. They suspect that an IS recruiter is staying at this farm. The risk of being ambushed is high.
Straight ahead. Look left.
Left clear.
Two doors in front of us.
I have them in sight. There's a woman in the room.
Come out.
Come out quickly. Stay right there.
It's the wife of the suspected terrorist. The special forces discover 2 children in the room as well. They tell the woman to take them to safety.
Attics and roofs are often used as hiding places. The criminals either barricade themselves in or store weapons and explosives there. We always look for possible hiding places, double walls, raised floors hidden under carpets. Sometimes the extremists even dig tunnels, 15 to 20 meters long. When under threat, they disappear across the backyard.
Now it's the addict's turn. On raids against suspected terrorists like this, the men can't afford to worry about damaging the furnishings and fittings. They could come under attack at any moment. The suspected IS recruiter isn't at home. The officers presume that he's long since fled and headed to the Middle East. Otherwise, it's unlikely that the family would have reacted so calmly.
If at all possible, we warn the neighbors in advance. We ask women and children to leave critical rooms.
The mission is over for today. Time to head back to base. The men of the Counter-terrorism unit, SOBR Bulat, are housed in this temporary camp. Stationed here with them are other Russian National Guard special task forces. They all come from very different backgrounds, but the living conditions are the same for everyone here.
We heat with wood. If we run out, we get more from outside and dry it beside the stove. Here we drink tea or eat. Over there are several rows of beds. We hang up our clothes here and store our weapons, ammunition, and special equipment back there.
Doesn't it get damp in here?
No. We heat the place so it doesn't get damp. That keeps the air dry.
What do you do in your spare time?
We check our equipment, clean our weapons, exercise, jog. Everyone does their own thing.
The men try and make their living space in the temporary counter-terrorism camp as comfortable as possible. Nevertheless, they shouldn't put too much effort in, as the camp could be relocated to another flashpoint in the North Caucasus at a moment's notice.
This is our shower. Cold, to toughen you up.
Так, а это умывальник. Вот сюда уже, соответственно, можно горячую воду.
You can wash with warm water here. You have to heat it up on the stove beforehand, though.
Горячей водой здесь можно даже принять. Из чашечки сверху на себя поливать. Очень интересно на контрасте с
It's amazing how much water you use at home
ванной и все время очень
and what it costs at the end of the month.
платишь за воду. А здесь пол.
Here you only need half a bucket full to wash up.
Вот дрова у нас.
Back there is the fuel, and on the other side is our workout corner.
But here you can only exercise when the weather's dry.
Нет, почему? Что мешает? Вот, пожалуйста.
No, why? You can do it fine.
Three o'clock in the morning. Time to get up, put on the uniform, quick breakfast, and they head to the Dagestan extremist stronghold of Khasavyurt once more. Police investigators have requested the support of SOBR Bulat, another operation against the Islamic State terrorist militia.
Today we're conducting a raid on a home. Apparently an IS fighter is staying there.
A final weapons check, and they can get underway. SOBR Bulat missions usually take place during the early morning hours. They want to make the most of the element of surprise. This police officer carries an armored shield in addition to a Yerrigan pistol.
The important thing isn't so much the model, but rather the caliber and stopping power. The best are 919 and 921 caliber.
The elite fighters are highly focused. They've rehearsed everything hundreds of times and already carried out dozens of similar missions. The squad leader has a sketch of the building they're going to storm today.
The first assault squad goes to the gate. The second team comes from the side over the unfinished wall. The men at the gate will make a lot of noise in order to intimidate the people in the house.
The operation begins.
This is our camera, wireless, telescopic, extendable. With this we can check cellars, attics and look around corners.
4:30 in the morning. The special forces stop approximately 500 meters before the house of the suspected IS follower. The man is said to be a recruiter for the terrorist militia. The house to be raided is situated on the right-hand side at the end of the road. The transporter with MG turret provides cover for the two assault teams. One team creeps onto the property over the unfinished wall, while the other makes a noise at the front gate. Intimidation tactics.
I'll cover you.
Time to go. Police, open up!
Team 1 tries to open the gate, which is locked from the inside, for Team 2. A woman appears at the front door. Behind her is a man, the suspected IS recruiter. The tone becomes harsher.
Там мужчина
There's a man standing behind her.
The police officers alert their colleagues.
Come out with your hands up.
Come out! Hands up, I said!
Hands up, come out. Come out. Hands up and face the wall. Face the wall.
By radio, the squad leader gives the command to storm the house.
On your knees.
Leave him alone. He's just had an operation.
The mother of the suspected terrorist tries to stop them from entering. The Special Forces men don't need to resort to physical violence. Their intimidation tactics have the desired effect.
You stay down. We're going in.
My mother has a weak heart.
What do you want from us?
The suspect's mother is in a panic. His wife faints.
Turn the light on. Turn the light on. Tell them they should turn the light on.
The elite police officers search the house room for room.
Just turn the light on.
Pull the curtain back. Heads up. Children, stop. A bit to the right. Now straight ahead.
They first make sure that nobody is hiding with the child.
Come out, don't be afraid. Come on. Come on.
Come to me.
Take the child.
What on earth has happened?
The mother of the suspected terrorist knows that her son could be in serious trouble.
Right, clear.
Now the cupboard. Done?
Yeah, all clear.
You can't go in there.
You want to frame us?
The woman repeats her fear several times. She suspects the officers of secretly hiding drugs or ammunition in order to frame her son for a crime he didn't commit. This way, they will have something on him, even if the evidence is otherwise weak. Although reeling from the shock, everyone is physically unharmed. The Special Forces deny the woman's allegations. They aren't manipulating anything, they say.
This man recruits fighters for the terrorist militia IS, which is banned in Russia.
Do you know why the police are here?
No.
Don't you have any idea what you're being accused of?
I don't know.
Do you have a criminal record?
No.
Do you have any involvement with terrorists?
No, I have nothing to do with them.
What about the IS?
No. Cellar's clear. We checked the cellar with the camera through the door and windows. Everything okay so far? We'll keep looking.
Открываю.
Open it.
Досматриваю.
Let's take a look inside.
Вот слева.
Let's check behind it.
The entrance is on the left.
Чисто.
All clear. We're coming back.
Чисто. Вот обстановка.
What's the situation?
Отлично. Фигурант.
Everything's going according to plan.
Адрес.
We've arrested the terrorism suspect and searched everything.
Чердак.
Cellar and attic are clear.
The elite police officers now take a closer look at the attic. They're primarily looking for weapons and ammunition. Before the men climb up, they first check the area again with the camera. An ambush is possible at any time. As soon as the special forces have everything under control, the doctors can get to work. The mother of the suspected IS follower needs cardiovascular medication.
Do you have problems with your blood pressure?
I always have low blood pressure.
Drink this, it will help.
The suspected terrorist sticks to his story. He has no connection with the so-called Islamic State or any other extremist organizations.
Он испугался и растерялся, поэтому вот.
He wasn't expecting us, which is why he was completely taken by surprise
Притормозил у него с этого.
and didn't know how he should react.
Ну, это.
He was basically under shock and didn't have a chance to put up any resistance.
Ни средств, ни
There were no weapons in the house, just his family,
в доме находилась
mother,
семья,
wife, and child.
супруга, ребенок.
Special Task Force Sober Bulat's operation in Khasavyurt is over. Investigators now take custody of the suspect. They will try to get him to talk.
Человек заинструктирован, соответственно.
Most extremists are thoroughly briefed by their leaders.
Видели. Но обычно, если
They protest their innocence.
после задержания и
But under interrogation,
дальше туда,
when in custody or during the court hearing,
на определенном
many do eventually talk.
в них ломаются и начинают давать информацию. Используют
There can be many reasons for this.
там,
A deal with the public prosecutor, the prospect of a lesser penalty, or simply fear.
когда к нему подсадных,
Sometimes we place an informant in the cell.
втираясь в
He
доверие,
gains their trust and then sounds them out.
информацию.
The counter-terrorism units of the Russian National Guard are having to be deployed more and more frequently. They expect an influx of IS fighters returning from the Middle East. The terrorists try to sneak back into the North Caucasus through the thick mountain forests of the countries bordering Russia. Then it's down to the Russian National Guard to stop them.